because Jalen Hurts had a rough game as far as offensively. Hit 150 passing yards. That Eagles defense made some big plays. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns.
Not rushing.
Push-tush touchdowns.
He was thrown in the end zone.
Well, thrown in the end zone. No, but
I'm not letting you get away with that one.
I thought he
tush push.
I thought he had a 10-yard.
No. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
He did.
And then he got.
Yeah,
and then he got.
He had
tush.
1 rushing touchdown. 1 he was tossed in the end zone by his ass cheeks.
Okay, but here's the point. It was a rough game as far as for that, but they found a way to win. And everyone's looking at it is that you beat the good team. If Lamar did that and they won the game, it'd be like, well,
yeah,
they won, but it's the question. But now the bigger discussion, guys, is that there's a new leader for MVP odds, and that is Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is now, if we're looking at this, I'll try to pull this up in a second. Jalen Hurts is now leading with Lamar Jackson second, Patrick Mahomes third, and Tua fifth. Your boy Dak, Brad, is now sixth with the highest at plus 1,600, but he has been on fire as of recently. So I asked you guys.
Against shitty teams.
Okay, well here, let me just I'm going to share my
It's
screen
been against
here.
shitty teams. I mean, who have the Cowboys played in the last 3-4 weeks?
Well, here I wanted to share the screen here for a second for people to see. Okay, so Jalen Hurts is the favorite now. Lamar second, Mahomes, Tua, Dak, and Brock's just sitting there without a picture too. By the way,
Yeah, what? How are they going to do Brock dirty like that? Get the man a picture.
Get the man a
He was in the
photo.
NFC Championship last year.
Just put a penis as his profile.
Big
picture.
cock Brock.
Yeah.
Guy's a stud. But so you're seeing that. So I'm asking you guys, why is Aaron Rodgers' name still on that list?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is this how accurate is it?
I don't know. But
No,
but
it is accurate.
It is
I'm looking
accurate.
at live FanDuel stuff right
Yeah. So, but I don't understand the rest of it. But Jalen Hurts, guys, he's had a great year. Argument of right now, would you agree with the Jalen Hurts is now the MVP favorite?
Hell no.
now. No, not even close.
Not a shot. Not a chance.
I think CJ Stroud is more of an MVP than Jalen Hurts.
100%. And I actually talked about this with Ryan when we were doing our pre-show notes. I said, listen, I don't have to take Lamar Jackson. I know I'm a homer, but CJ Stroud is certainly, I think, actually playing better this season than anybody at this stage in the season. I don't know who's playing better.
This is the weakest MVP race I remember for some time.
I agree. I mean, there's a chance that there's a player that's not a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like, tell me why Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey, if they do insane stuff the last 6-7 weeks, can't win that.
Yeah.
I just think if there was ever a year, it would be this year because no quarterback's running away with it.
Right.
And the only guy that I would say is running away with it, if he wasn't a rookie, would be CJ Stroud. I think the only reason CJ Stroud is plus 1,800 is because he's a rookie.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, but it could change here if the Texans win that game. And if the Texans finish with 12 wins,
yep,
could be a very different discussion. But to give context, CJ Stroud has 17 passing touchdowns. He has 5 interceptions, and 3 of them came in this last game. Like, it was a rough one. He had 2 bad interceptions in the red zone, but he's second in the league in passing yards. Guys balling out. But Jalen Hurts, I'm going to defend Jalen Hurts a little bit here. I do think if the Eagles roll, it's going to be a big part because Hurts is playing very well. That was not his best game. So I would say stop traffic. We're good.
Oh, it's just one of the lights.
Yeah, it's fine. Just one of the lights went down. It's fine.
Talk
it's all
about
in the
stop
studio.
traffic. I did just, as we were talking, we convinced me. I just put money on CJ Stroud to win MVP.
Well, there it is. But hey, for Jalen Hurts, I think so far in the season, he's got 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, almost 2,500 receiving yards. The interception part is going to be looked at more, but rushing wise, you can say the tush pushes. No team falls down at the 1-yard line more than the Eagles, but they do have 9. He does have 9 touchdowns rushing, so he's got 24 combined touchdowns for the season, and he's on the best team in the NFL. So I think if it's not Jalen, I'd probably say CJ Stroud's going to creep in. But Lamar Jackson here, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
If the Ravens win the number 1 seed or get the number 1 seed, I think Lamar Jackson wins the MVP.
I agree.
Actually, well, that'll be interesting because I think that Jalen Hurts will probably get. It's not going to be unanimous, obviously.
No.
I think but Eagles end up being number 1 seed, then you start making arguments for Jalen Hurts as well. So it'll be very interesting to see Ravens get number 1, Philadelphia gets number 1, what that looks like. I think, what does it come down to, right? Like, obviously, this is all voting, and so a lot of it's political, but does it come down to touchdowns? Does it come down to wins? I don't know.
I think
really don't.
if it's between Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, I think they give it Jalen Hurts because then they would each have one. I think if Jalen Hurts already had an MVP, they'd give it to Lamar. I think it could be one of those things where now could suddenly not as good of a year. If Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs already, that's Hall of Fame. Like,
Oh yeah.
so now you are really like you said, it's a lot of political stuff. I don't necessarily think always the best season wins MVP, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, then the best season would be for the season, if it's on pace, would be Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
Tyreek Hill is still balling out. Now the Dolphins aren't winning enough games, but that would be if we're talking about seasons.
Yeah.
But for Lamar Jackson's sake, right now, let's just face it, you're down Mark Andrews. You got to go through San Francisco, Jacksonville on the road, and you got to beat the Dolphins, Steelers, these teams, Chargers. I think it's going to be a big reason if this offense plays well, it's going to be because Lamar Jackson was sensational. Even though the defense is great, that's just what I'm thinking. It was good discussion.
Lamar's also thrown only 5 touchdowns compared to 9 for Jalen Hurts. Or interceptions,
yeah.
Sorry.
12-5, and then Lamar Jackson has run for 535 yards. Even that doesn't seem like, man, he's only
He's having a light year.
Lamar hasn't done as much. He still has 535 rush yards and 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Guy's incredible. Talk about Cam Newton's numbers. Lamar is now 28 rush yards away from eclipsing 5,000.
6 games to go.
It's incredible. He really is. I think that does.
I guess you could say he's Lamarvelous.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
And again, I'm the corny asshole.
It's so much funnier when we just say you're the corny one, and then we can make the corny jokes and no one says anything.
Yep. Hey, Mace, last thing, I'm with you here. Strength of schedule, Lamar's MVP if they win that number 1 seed. It would have happened if he didn't get hurt in 2021 when he was lighting it up.